Okay, hi everyone. I'm Helen Taylor, and welcome to my show, Inspired Radio. I'm here with you every Wednesday for conversations and stories to inspire you. Firstly, before I get started, sponsors, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. You support at the show, you encourage me, you inspire me as well. So thank you very much. Inspired Radio is all about change, getting uncomfortable and shaking up the status quo, because we are breaking free from limiting systems and limiting lives and embracing our infinite potential. My guests are here to tell their story because storytelling is creating a new world. So let me introduce today's guest. This is Julie Mellae, a passionate Lyme disease advocate, author, researcher, and speaker who has dedicated years to raising awareness about chronic illness and the many complex issues that often accompany it. Julie is the author of Australian Lyme Crimes, The Global Disgrace. It's a book that combines her personal journey with extensive research into the history of Lyme disease and its global impact. She'll be speaking this November at the Cosmic Consciousness Conference as well in Tasmania and sharing her knowledge and experience with a large audience there as well. Today, we're going to be exploring a range of fascinating and often challenging topics that are all associated with Lyme disease, such as the vagus nerve, parasites, PTSD, chronic pain, Morgellons, and even the spiritual aspect of this. So welcome, Julie. It's just beautiful to have you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Helen, for having me on. I'm sorry I stood you up last week. Um, it's the nature of the beast. Being well for me is a bonus.
Yeah.
There are days that I can I can do everything. I feel completely normal. And other days, that turn into weeks, I'm stuck to the sheets.
Well, I
And
want to get people to understand this, Julie. And firstly, before we get started, thank you so much for being here today. Like you
Oh,
said,
you're welcome.
we tried once before, but the nature of this illness and all the associated titles that it's been
Yeah.
given means that you can be wiped out sometimes. And even today, everybody, I want you to know that Julie's done her best and looks fabulous, I must say,
Thank you.
considering that she's just kind of having a hard time of it. So thank you so much for pushing through because
You're
I want
welcome.
people to hear your story, right? Like, okay, where do we start? Where do we start?
Well, I guess we start with the history or part of the history. I mean, the story is so convoluted that there's no way I could tell you everything within an hour.
Yes.
It it takes around 2 hours, and that's just the synopsis.
Right.
So back in back in 1940, I discovered that Australia was playing around with tick manipulation with the CSIRO
Yep.
in collusion with the Russian military um, to weaponize these things. Now, Russia had been doing it for years and years before
So
that.
in the laboratories, they were experimenting with ticks. Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It was at Sydney University
Okay.
where they all came together. Um, CSIRO were involved, Sydney, like I said, Sydney University,
Mhm.
and the Russian military were playing mad, as you said, mad scientists.
That's what I
Uh,
said before the show. I said it
yeah,
sounds like
yeah,
sounds
to
like these
weaponize.
mad scientists getting together saying, what can we do? How can we play war games and use ticks?
Well, yes, and look, it was for the military. Um, but what I didn't understand was like why people would do this evil.
Mm.
It transpires that um, in the 50s and the 60s that they were doing the same thing on Plum Island, uh, Connecticut, and they were doing it in Fort Detrick, Maryland, and they were actually quite proud of the fact that they had manipulated ticks with, toxins and viruses and bacterias and all the rest of it.
Right.
Um, because it would bring the enemy down. It wouldn't necessarily kill them, though it does. It would bring them down, make them chronically ill, and they can't fight. So they tested it. The Americans tested it during the Cuban Missile Crisis,
Right.
and they dumped plane loads of toxic ticks, manipulated ticks, they're bioweapons, on Cuban cane workers just to see what happened.
Wow.
Then in the 60s, then in the 60s, the Americans dropped irradiated ticks on innocent civilians just to see how long it would take for the ticks to migrate, to breed, and how sick people might become.
What it
So,
would do to human beings. Yeah.
yes, yes. Now, my background is I lived in the Royal National Park south of Sydney. Beautiful, lovely place to bring up a child as a single mum.
Mhm.
And I knew about ticks, but I didn't know how dangerous they really were. Given I was an inner city girl, I thought all this bush stuff and nature was great.
Yep.
And so did my son. And we used to pull ticks off from time to time with no problem. Like
Off yourself.
yeah,
Yep.
we didn't get sick, nothing happened, didn't think twice about it until the time I was bitten on the back of the neck.
So let's go back one step. So where
Yep,
it's more prevalent in the in nature, in the bush sort of thing. Is
yep.
that what you're saying? Living near
In the
that
bush,
area. Right.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
And look, there are birds and mammals, there's lizards, there's,
Yep.
all sorts of great hosts for ticks to live
Okay.
on, and especially people.
Yep.
So one particular day, I felt this lump on the back of my neck, and I was on the phone, an old-fashioned phone, talking to a girlfriend. I went, geez, I've got a headache. And then I felt this lump, had no idea what it was.
Yep.
And I squeezed it and yanked it out. Still didn't know what it was.
Right.
And I went to the doctor the next day with this lump of a thing, and she said, oh my God, she said, the mouthpiece, this is a tick, fully engorged tick.
Right.
It was probably pregnant. You've squeezed the whole contents of its guts, its eggs, its toxins into your
Into your
body.
body.
Yeah. And I went, yeah, rightio. Well, just do what you have to do, and I'll go
Yes.
off and do what I have to do. Still, I didn't have a clue. So she had to take the mouthpieces out, and I went back to work. Everything was good.
Yep.
I used to feel tired, fatigued often. Um, but I just figured that was from raising a child and doing all that sort of thing that mothers do.
So the symptoms start to kind of slowly creep up.
Very slowly.
Hmm.
Tick-borne disease, aka Lyme disease, works by the Borrelia works by stealth. So it happily populates within your body.
The Borrelia being, is that a natural part of the tick, or is this what you're saying is
The Borrelia is the bacteria of the tick
okay?
that's been pumped into my body,
Yep.
as well as all the bioweapon toxins.
Right.
And it lays in wait. And it must have been very, very healthy because it didn't rear its head until one particular week. My best girlfriend died of a brain tumor, and I crashed my car very badly. It was my fault.
Hmm.
My fault. Crashed the car, and I couldn't feel any more upset and emotional than I did that particular week. And from that week onwards, my health spiraled down, 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 down until I couldn't get off the couch, thought I had a flu. And a girlfriend said to me, look, you've had this flu for 2 months. I think something else is going on.
Yes. Yep.
And that's when I started to consider what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
So my journey was I went to doctors. I went to a local doctor, and this woman, we used to have kids on the same soccer team, and I thought she was my friend and all that. She tested me and went, yeah, you probably just got parasites or something. Don't worry about it, but we'll do a test and we'll see what's going on. Well, yes, I had a gut full of parasites, and she medicated me for that. Then I went back to her and said, look, still don't feel any better. In fact, I feel worse. And
Yeah.
on that medication, I passed out on the kitchen floor, vomited, and even my pug dog wouldn't eat the vomit. You know something bad's going on when a dog doesn't eat vomit. I mean, it's awful.
Well, it's
Um,
like something on your insides was pretty damn toxic by the sounds of it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I went back to her and I said, look, I'm getting worse. I've lost 10 kilos. And she went, look, Julie, I think you're attention seeking. You know,
Wow.
I'd think about this a little bit more, Julie, before you came back to me, because I've treated you, you're fine. Because clearly wasn't fine.
Yes.
I was dragging myself around.
How much time had passed now since you had that tick on the back or the tick and the babies on the back of your neck to what's happening now?
A good 18 months.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, and then it exploded inside of me.
But it's sounding like those two events of losing your best friend and having a car accident on a nervous system kind of level triggered
That's what
something.
it triggered it. So the bacteria works by stealth.
Right.
It waits until your immune system has dropped. Um,
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like you were at your lowest. You were lowest, and it's like it opens up the drawbridge or
it
something.
did, it did.
Right.
That's how it works.
Right.
Um, so I just continued to get sicker and sicker. Went to about 5 other doctors, and they went, "Oh, they're bizarre sort of symptoms. Look, never heard of any of that before." And do you think, you need to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist?
There it
Because
is again. Yeah.
nobody could have that many symptoms. It's just impossible.
Was that becoming kind of just a standard direction
Yes.
for
Yep.
doctors? It's like if they
Yep.
don't know what to do with
Yep.
you, then they'll put you in the other box that's called mental health.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yes. So I heard that one like 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, I was doing like allied health professional care by massage and by Reiki and by frequency. And look, it wasn't that I wasn't trying to help myself,
Yep.
but I wanted an answer. I wanted an answer to what I had.
Hmm.
That's when I started researching, because I realized I was going into dementia. I couldn't remember things. I couldn't perform simple tasks. When I'd drive somewhere to a doctor's appointment, I'd get lost.
Hmm.
I wouldn't know where I was, but I'd be in my neighborhood. Everything looked like I could have been in Africa. I recognized nothing, none of the buildings, none of the landscape I didn't recognize. And that's when I,
Julie, can I just interject there because I just want to point something out.
yeah,
Being poisoned, right, whether it's by plan, by design or not, is insidious. It's
Yes,
insidious because what I'm hearing from you, it's like, for people listening out there, they don't have your whole story unless they want to read your book and fill all the gaps in. But, to have certain symptoms with, brain fog, not remembering, vomiting like you had as well, collapsing sometimes, having no energy, all of those sorts of things, the medical profession has labeled them as all sorts of other conditions.
yes,
So
yes,
it's a minefield, right? It's a minefield. But the bottom line is that if we're being poisoned deliberately or not,
yes,
then it's really hard to just acknowledge I've been poisoned.
yes. I've been poisoned. Yes, I'm being killed. I'm
I've been
being murdered.
attacked. Yeah.
Yes, I'm being murdered here, and
Yeah.
I'm dying from the
Yeah.
inside,
Yeah.
from the brain down, because obviously it had attacked my brain. It attacks every system in the body. There's
Yes.
nothing sacred. You
Yeah.
know, the Borrelia is a corkscrew um, bacteria, and it's related to syphilis. Charming. And it drills through your
Right.
bone, your brain, organs, everything. Everything hurts. Everything in your body hurts. And I used to maintain even my eyelashes hurt.
Gosh.
So
Did they create the terminology Lyme's disease as a distraction from this or not?
no, it first raised its head in Lyme, Connecticut. Not far from the lab, in fact, just across the bay, less than 30 miles, where a group of teenage children were developing rheumatoid arthritis. Oh, yes, and I had rheumatoid arthritis in my hips too.
Right, right.
Um, and they started scratching their head a bit like COVID. Baffling, baffling. These kids were tested over and over. No, there was nothing wrong with them, but geez, it's strange. So the initial outbreak happened in Lyme, Connecticut, and that's where the name came from.
Okay.
Now, in Australia, they maintain we do not have Lyme disease in Australia. We do. Um, we most likely have rickettsia, which is a different strain of the bacteria,
Right.
because the actual Borrelia burgdorferi um, is not plentiful in Australian tick-borne disease testing, if you can get it. It's that those numbers are very low, but it does exist. So now we're sort of encouraged to say, it's not Lyme disease, it's tick-borne disease, which covers then a plethora of other tick-type bacterias. We have something like, 97 different types of ticks in Australia. So,
Okay.
of course, they're all going to carry different types of toxins.
Right.
Some have been irradiated, some have been um, are not bioweapons. I had ticks before, didn't
Yes.
didn't bother me.
Yes.
Some do, some don't.
Hmm.
It's a lottery.
Wow. Russian roulette with
Yeah,
ticks.
yeah. See, Americans have about 5 or 6 different types of ticks,
Okay.
and they still can't get to the bottom of it all. And we've got, plenty. We've got just plenty more, and we don't do testing here um, on the level. There is a company in the city that will test for you, an independent company, and they will test for all the bacterias.
Okay.
My doctor that I finally found,
Hmm.
who was wonderful, said, I'm not allowed to test you for Lyme disease, but that's what I think you've got, given your background and where you live.
Right.
So, what we'll do is test you for all the co infections. And of course, the co-infections came back, mycoplasma, relapsing fever, Epstein-Barr, brucella, like parasites. There was just a host of
So
different.
Lyme's disease is an umbrella for all
Yes,
of those things.
yes,
And when I
yeah,
first introduced you, I was talking about parasites, PTSD, chronic
that's it.
pain, even Morgellons.
I have Morgellons disease. Thank you very much. Which is another disgusting part of the bioweapon. We know that Morgellons disease is a bioweapon.
Yeah,
That's standard.
yeah.
So, fibers eject out of my skin, causing lesions. But also, I was insect um, infected. So, along with the fibers coming out of my skin, I'd have been in a detox bath, and all this black stuff would rise to the top.
Wow.
And I'd sit there like I got all OCD about it. I thought it was falling out of my ceiling, all this stuff.
Yep.
And I got a microscope and I looked under the microscope and went, they're actual insects.
Wow. So this is something's going on inside of your body that when you have a
Oh, I'm very,
detox bath, you're changing the color of the bath.
yes. Yeah. So they're like the size of a pinhead, all this stuff that was
Yeah.
coming out. And it just kept on coming out and coming out and coming out. But I'd be scratching, bleeding. The lesions were terrible, which I did show to an infectious disease doctor who told me, look, I'm seriously psychiatric. And look, most ice addicts do have lesions on their skin. They do believe that there are bugs crawling under their skin. And if you just got off the ice pet, you'd feel a
Oh
whole lot
my
better. But
gosh.
in the meantime, I'm going to refer you to a psychiatrist. Now I went with my, my specimen jars full of this shit.
So
And
with evidence.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. He said to me, why don't we just throw these in the bin? I said, no, you won't.
Yeah.
I said, they come from my body. I'm keeping the evidence. This is my intellectual property, and you are not doing anything with it.
Is it so hard for some people to say, I don't know what's going on with you?
Yes,
I don't know how to help you, but maybe I'll try?
nobody ever said that to me, and nobody's ever said that to many people with tick-borne infections.
Well, you would have, I'm sure, now that you've written your book and you've been getting out there, you've met other people going through the same thing as you.
Well, I run a Facebook page called Australian Lyme Crimes, and I've got about 5,000 followers there,
Good.
and we all go through it. We all
Okay.
go through it. Yeah, it's very, very rare to have some wonderful doctor that says, I don't care if I get deregistered. Well, I do care, but
Mm.
I'm going to help you because you're very, very sick.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, my doctor was deregistered, and I said, listen, and I warned him because I'd started researching,
Yep.
and I said, you're likely to be deregistered. He said, I don't give a fuck. He said, I'm going to help people,
Yep.
and that's my job. And I'm going to help you too. And it was like I just had. He said, and the three words, "I believe you." I just cried.
I'm
I
sure
just
you did.
cried.
I'm sure you did. Like for somebody's finally putting
Yes.
out the olive branch to you and saying, I'm going to help. It
Oh, I fell in love with him that
must have
day.
been liberating. Yeah. So what I'm seeing is, right, we've got a military complex in the background that's been playing war games with bugs and insects and their own soldiers and war games and whatever. That's bled out into the science world through the CSIRO and, probably universities and things like that as well. And then it's bled out into the general public.
Yes.
And it's all covert to a degree for the general public. This is like COVID. This is like the same thing happening. It's like people in labs are just messing around and experimenting with all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff. And then when it starts hitting the public, there's like, just we don't want to know about it.
The
We don't want
pushback, the
to know.
pushback, the pushback. So when I first released my book, I did get a lot of pushback,
How
but
long ago
then
was that, Julie? When was that?
5 years, just as COVID was happening, I
Okay.
released the book because it was a good distraction,
Yep.
thinking that, the Australian federal government had come and, shoot me or do something terrible. And my relatives went, geez, you can't say this stuff, Julie, they'll come and get you. And
Wow.
I said, look, I don't care. Look, I don't care. It's just got to be put out there. So
Yep.
I did it undercover. I
Right.
did it under the cover of COVID,
Yep.
releasing it. And people went, you're mad, you're mad, you're mad. And it only took a year until it was embraced. It was like, that makes so much sense now. That
Mhm.
makes so much sense.
Yep. Yep.
So,
The
and
book has the evidence as well of the things that you've
yes,
discovered.
yes.
For anybody out there that's, I mean, gosh, we're only hitting the surface here.
Oh, yeah,
But
that's it.
if you want to see the evidence that Julie's discovered along the way, it's in the book. Yeah.
It's in the book. So that's why I don't feel bad about talking about institutions
Yep.
because it's all in the book, the dates, the evidence. What can they do? So it is a cover up. Australia refuses registers on tick-borne disease. We don't know how many Australians are actually suffering,
Mm.
but we do estimate it's about 6% of the population. So roundabouts now, I'd say there's approximately 1 million people in the same position as me, and I'm not as bad health-wise as some of them are.
Oh,
You
there's
know,
worse. My
oh,
God.
but it's worse. It gets worse. I mean, people are affected permanently, have permanent disabilities from it, especially heart, kidneys, organs, and brain
Well,
problems.
actually, I said to you when we first had a conversation to connect, I said to you that talking to you made me remember my younger sister went with my mother on just a week away when my younger sister would have been about 8 or 9 years old. And they went to Tangalooma, which was up off the coast of Queensland. They went to
Mm.
an island, Tangalooma. And when they came back from there, my sister, her whole face blew up, her lips, her face, all this stuff started happening to her. Mum took her to the doctor and they said she'd been bitten by a tick. So while she was up there on the island, she'd been bitten by a tick, and this is what was going on. And, I'm saying this now out loud because so many people now are going to start paying more attention because being bitten by a tick has been like out there in the world. Our education here in Australia is be careful of your pets, be careful of your pets because this could
Yeah,
happen. But it doesn't tell people to be careful, right?
no,
And
no.
my sister, years later, developed MS. And from talking to you, it's like there's a correlation, right? There's a
I can
correlation.
tell you it's not MS. We often get labeled with other diseases like multiple sclerosis.
Yep,
It goes on. The list is this big of neurological disease.
yep,
She has tick-borne disease.
right.
And sometimes if they can't get to the bottom of it, and at least
Yep.
she got tested. Things happened for her.
Mm,
Um, it could be anything else. It could
yeah.
be, oh, look, I've got a bit of brain fog this morning, truly I have. But the
Oh,
list
you're
of,
doing extremely well. I'm having a great time here.
oh, good.
You're just full of information. Um, but
There's
what
a
I'm hearing
huge,
is it's like it has a spider web effect that
yes,
it's insidious, and over time, the symptoms have been labeled as all sorts of other things.
yes. Yes, fibromyalgia. This is the one I was trying to think. That covers everything.
Right.
Oh,
Yes.
you've got fibromyalgia. Well, you're just going to have to suck it up for the rest of your life because there's nothing we can do about it. Fibromyalgia, we've found, basically is tick-borne disease, and so is Parkinson's disease.
And my mum had Parkinson's, and it was my mum and sister that both went up to Tangalooma. So I don't know. I don't know. You just
Oh,
when I have conversations with someone like you, and I think others will be doing it out there as well, you start putting
oh,
your own dots together.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It makes me really sound sorry, but
No,
it,
no, no. People
this is
need to know the truth, love. They
this
need
is what
to.
it does to you.
Mhm.
Um, I was reading some papers when I was researching. Sorry, I've gone all teary now. Um, 9 out of 10 brains that were studied post mortem all had Lyme disease, tick-borne disease.
What does that look like? Like what turns up? What do they see?
Oh, well, I think they had to test the tissue
Right.
of the brain
Okay.
um, to find that. But it, on my Australian Lyme Crimes Facebook page, I used to well, I still do, put reports there about Parkinson's disease, and people act up like something terrible. Now they don't. It's
Okay.
like, oh,
Mm.
just like your light bulb moment then.
Yep.
It's like, oh,
Mm.
okay,
It's
yeah.
insidious. It really is because, between when an event occurs and when symptoms start to show, so many different things have happened. It makes it really difficult for people to pinpoint.
I was developing dementia, and a lot of Lymies do. And I thought, no, I'm not doing this. I've just lost my father with dementia, and that wasn't nice.
Mm.
So I thought, right, I'm going to research this. I'm going to try and get to the bottom of why I've been treated so badly,
Yep.
why I'm so sick. And then I started to unfold things. And at this stage, I was too sick to live in my own house. I actually moved in with my son.
Right.
And I'd find out this information, these discoveries on what they did and how they did it. And I'd go into full grief. Like, how could they do this to people? My son had come home and I'd go, guess what I discovered today? Like, horrified, in tears and grieving. I'd
Mm.
have to put the research down because I was grieving so hard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I'd pick it up again when I felt a bit stronger because I'm sick. I've got dementia, I've got rheumatoid arthritis, I've got stuff coming out of my skin. I'm feeling pretty poorly.
Yep.
I've, I've got cardiac issues. I had to put it
It's
down.
shock, isn't it, Julie? It's shock. It's like, how could people do this experimentation and then test it on people?
That's right. And look, living in the Royal National Park, I'm only like uh, 10 kilometres from CSIRO and Stowe, where I got chased out at gunpoint one time. That's
What?
another story. Oh, yeah, that's another story. And it's like 2 kilometres up the road is Holsworthy Army Barracks, and there's a tunnel underneath Heathcote Road that connects both of them. It's very handy.
Yes, there is. Yes, there
Yes.
is. You're not the first person I've heard talk about that, and it's been used, the military base has
Mm-hmm.
been used for so many covert things, from
Absolutely.
child trafficking to what you're talking about and everything in between.
So where we start with tick-borne disease, which moves on to MK Naomi, which is experimenting with other bugs as well, which then develops into MK Ultra.
Which
And
is
it goes,
the mind.
yes, MK Ultra, oh God, sex trafficking and
Yeah.
mind control.
Control. Hmm.
They all link into each other.
Yes.
They all link into each other. And that's horrific because it's just up the road from where I used to live.
And people
And there,
need to know, though, that you've had your government and government, departments experimenting on you for a long, long time.
it's a decade now for me. It's been 30 years for some people.
Mm.
So they were releasing bioweapons long before I even got bitten and before I knew anything about it.
We're back to the mad scientists, Julie. We're back to the
Well,
mad scientists.
I often maintain, and I think I mention it in my book, it's like they swept the floor of the lab, chucked it into a petri dish, and went, let's make something with this. Every germ,
What
every
happens?
yeah, virus, parasite, whatever, they put it into the petri dish, and they're going, this is fabulous. Look at it grow.
And so, what's the vagus nerve got to do with all of this? What have you found?
Well, all our nerves become inflamed. Our whole system becomes inflamed, our central nervous system. Our vagus nerve, from what I understand, and I'm not an expert on it, um, once that's out of kilter, the whole body's out of kilter. And
Well, it's
there
called,
are,
I think it's called the wanderer's nerve because it wanders actually right through the entire body and every organ.
yes, it does.
Mm.
Yes, it does. And it's probably on account of all the nerve damage that we suffer as well, that the body has an awful time trying to recover
Yes,
from anything. And then we get a flare of a symptom and go, for fuck's sakes, what's going on now?
yes,
We don't
yes.
know. We never know because of this, it's like phyllo pastry, it's layers and layers and layers of other bacteria, other parasites, other viruses.
Well, the
That
central nervous system is our electrical system of the
that's
body.
it. Yes,
And if it is not if it's not working properly, it's firing incorrectly. It's making me think about my sister with what was, MS symptoms of, having sharp pains just
yep,
coming out of nowhere, or,
yep.
you know, something going cold or something going hot. And that's the nervous system firing.
Migrating pain, head pain, eyesight
Yeah.
pain,
Yeah.
and it moves. It just moves.
And that's the myelin sheath. That's the casing of the nerves that's being attacked or broken down.
Absolutely, yeah,
And
yeah.
then everyone's got raw nerves going on that are firing and misfiring. And, the body's just trying to fix what's breaking.
Sensitivity to light and sound. I used to wear sunglasses in the house. I couldn't stand the light.
Yes.
Um, I had to stop going certain places because the noise would irritate me too badly. It was like, oh, stop the noise, stop. I can't take it. I can't take
Yeah.
it. And then there'd be a pain here, and then there'd be another, and I'd be going,
I'm just going off here in my head,
oh,
connecting these symptoms with a million different other diseases.
yes, yes.
God, how to create a good business for yourself. Attack the central nervous system somehow, and then call everything that happens from that different diseases and conditions, and you can make millions of dollars on that,
Well,
couldn't
they
you?
have.
And
They
they
have.
are.
Yeah. So I call them
A good
the
model. Shit.
doctors' medical mafia, and of course, Big Pharma obviously makes money out of this. Not that there's a treatment, but we need pharmacological help as well. Um, but our immune systems are low, our digestive systems don't work very well, our nerves are on edge,
Yeah.
our organs are being destroyed. Our
So
brains,
In America, they are recognizing Lyme's disease, but you're
yes.
saying in Australia they won't.
Oh, no, we don't have Lyme disease in Australia,
Right.
you see. And despite our Senate inquiries, we still don't have Lyme disease in Australia, nor do we have tick-borne disease in
That was going to be
Australia.
my next question. Why? Okay. Why are they saying no to both of those things? What floodgate will it open if they started to say yes?
Because it's a bioweapon, they get caught out on that. And can you imagine the class actions? And I'd be up there at the top.
Spearheading
Com-
it.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. It would be huge. It would be just
Okay. So
huge.
it's basically the powers that be, medical or whatever, saying no, I don't no. Just if we don't acknowledge it and we just ignore it, it'll just go away somehow.
Mhm. And we've had some good senators trying to push for us. We have.
Right.
And again, no. The answer is no. We are not going to acknowledge it. We will not recognize it. And if you try and treat it, doctors will still disbar you. It
So
can't, it
how are
can't go, it can't go on much longer because, America now is recognizing and admitting there's they know it was a bioweapon, but they're stalling a little bit for now. What do we do? We're going to admit
yes,
this thing.
yes.
Now, what do we do? Because it's going to be humongous.
That's what I'm thinking, because you've got America saying, yes, we recognize it.
Yeah,
So, surely that's just building the energy, the collective cases and yeah, and backing for like the push here. They have to say, okay, we acknowledge it sooner or later.
sooner or later, yeah. But I mean, look, there are even doctors still in the States that won't treat it.
Mhm.
They're still so frightened of being deregistered, and they actually don't believe it's a bioweapon. I mean, some of these doctors are dumbass, In the olden days, Pat, I used to refer to grandma that the doctors used to research. They'd get a research paper and they would research, or they would look up, their medical encyclopedia if they got, you know, stuck with something. Doctors, once they leave medical school now, and they don't teach anything about tick-borne disease,
Mhm.
um, they're in it for the money, obviously, and they know nothing about it, and they've refused to be informed. Yet
Yes.
there are others, like the lovely man that I had, who knew all about it because they taught it in med school in Spain.
Right. Okay. Okay. I get you.
So it's a complete cover up,
But
and
also, I
it's
think
fraying. It's
by des-
fraying at the edges
yeah, yeah, by design though, here in Australia, they've made doctors so overworked and so, limited of time
for
that
15 minutes.
they're just a
15
conveyor
minute
belt.
doctor.
They're a
That's
conveyor
right.
belt. So we know damn well that if you stress people out and you keep them in kind of fight and flight, even
Yep.
doctors,
Yep.
right? They can only deal with what's in front of them and just move it along. And none of them have got to the capacity to start going, I need to do a bit of research. I need to do a
No,
bit of study. Yeah. Yeah. So
that's
you've
right.
got a doctor that came from another country where they were actually teaching about it.
Yes. And he worked in a medical center. Oh, look, I had to go to see him the first time. I got lost. This was in my neighborhood. Lost. I didn't recognize anything. I know where this medical center is. I know the area so well. I got lost, didn't know where I was, overwhelmed. When that feeling passed, it took like 15, 20 minutes. I opened the car door and just vomited and cried. I thought, this is just terrible.
That's just incredibly overwhelming. Like,
It was.
I've had a panic attack, I think, once in my life, right? Where I was disorientated, sitting in a car at a T intersection, and I could not recall where I was going or which way I had to go.
It's frightening, isn't it?
It is
It's
frightening,
frightening.
but you did it on steroids, right? Right. To not be able to recognize anything else that was
No,
going on. No
nothing.
wonder your whole body reacted that way and threw up. Like that is just incredibly traumatic.
Was. It was. So God love him. He was there, I maintain that this beautiful man was 6 foot, 47, just a gorgeous looking man. And I'm thinking, geez, feels so much better now. Yes,
That was a good start.
yeah. And and he called me and I tried to get out of my tried to get out of the chair very graciously because I'm very impressed with this man. And I couldn't get out of the chair. Like my hips had locked together. So he had to actually carry me into the room. He said, I can see you very, very sick.
Wow. Julie, how did you keep going?
I don't know. I wanted to get to the bottom of it. I refused to believe that I couldn't.
Mhm.
I just needed to keep pushing through. And it's almost like, well, you wondered what you were here for, Julie. This is what you're here for. And if
Wow.
we didn't make you sick, you wouldn't know anything about it. But you're going to be a Helms person on this. So let's do it properly. We'll make you as sick as possible.
Wow. Wow. And you're not the first person I've spoken to that has used trauma as the catalyst, right? To, like I said in the beginning of this show, creating a new world.
Yes.
Creating a new world. You're a pioneer that's stepping out on the edge and going, no, 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 no. This world, our world that we have all come from, is not operating very well at all, right? It is not supporting health and wellness. It is not
No,
supporting the spirit and love and community and all those sorts of things.
none of it. Like I said, I discover things and grief, cry that mankind is so cruel. I didn't
Yes.
realize. I mean, I did, but not to the extent
Well, it was
that
smacking
it
you in the
is.
face. It was
It
smacking you
was.
in the face.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So that's how I discovered it all. I got past my dementia thing by by doing the research, and I don't know that I really planned to do a book. I just planned to keep my head busy,
Yeah.
um, to work that neuroplasticity.
Yep. Keep
And
wiring and firing.
yeah, and so it ended up being a book. It ended up,
Wow.
it was important to get it out there.
Yep.
I didn't do it for the money, and you don't make money, like truly. Um,
Not
but
from a book. Not from a
no,
book, you don't, but from it becomes, I mean, I wrote a book myself as well. And I remember the group that I went through, she said it just becomes, just a really nice business card.
basically, yeah, yeah,
Because your story is important. It's the catalyst for your story, right?
yeah.
So you're now looking at how do we change this world, right?
Well, it was a catalyst for the evil behind it.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what I'm telling people is that this thing is fucking evil. It's the devil in medical.
Yeah.
It's awful thing.
So you're pulling the curtain back and going,
Oh
look,
yeah. Yep.
look. hmm
Look at this, look at this, look at
It's
this.
right here in our backyard, Australia.
And look, my computers have been hacked twice. Um, and I actually found who got into them. And one was our government. So they know what I'm doing.
Oh,
And another one was APRA.
right. And you're not
Our,
a you're not a practitioner or anything like that. So why
no,
would they be after you?
because I'm writing on a banned topic. It's taboo. I shouldn't be talking about it. It doesn't exist in Australia. There are no sick people. We
Wow.
don't have ticks. Oh, it's ridiculous.
I mean, I know that you were having trouble coming to terms with the evilness of it, but I'm trying to come to terms with the ignorance of it. When we have professional people who call themselves doctors and scientists and practitioners or whatever, that don't have an open enough mind to go, I'm
No,
just going to have a look.
no, that's it.
So you've been hacked by our government and by APRA.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Oh, I feel it's a badge of honor,
I do
almost.
too. I applaud you. I
It's
absolutely applaud you.
it's cost me. It's cost me big time, but
Mm.
it's like, well, if they're interested
You
enough
must be
to
doing
do that,
something right.
yeah, that's it. That's
Yes.
it.
Yes.
I've crossed all the taboos because I don't care.
Yes.
Um, and uh, I live in an apartment where, I get lost in myself. So I don't know that they can find me. I mean, they can't do any more than hack my computer
Mm.
and take my research.
Mm.
But I've got copies, and, my head's not always great, but a lot of it's still here.
Mm.
And the research papers I've kept hard copies of. So it's like, I'll do your best, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And really, the best they're going to do is they've already tried that by
Yeah.
trying to categorize you as needing some mental health, sort of support or some psychiatry support or something like that. That's
Mm.
their only way when people start actually pulling the curtain back and revealing the truth is to start really playing the mental health card and saying there's something wrong with you. And especially here you are saying, I couldn't remember. I didn't know where I was going. I started losing, my capacity to think, right? I
Mhm.
mean, that's brave in itself because that can be used and fired back at you at some
It
point.
was. Yes, it was.
Mm.
Yeah.
But here you are talking with us today, and I'd say that everyone else that's listening here too is going to be saying, like she's making sense to me. She's putting her words together. She's got all this, kind of information coming out. You're doing a great job of it. You have your good days, you have your bad days,
I
right?
do. Yes, I do.
So how do
And
you support yourself, love? Like what, are there things you can take? Are there things that people can do?
well, we need to keep our pH in our bodies as neutral as possible because acidic bodies, as we know, create cancers. They create cytokine storms. Um, that's just one thing.
Yes.
Because there's a plethora of so many other symptoms happening for a whole lot of different reasons, it's really hard to take care of yourself.
Mm.
And many of my online people go, "Oh, I feel really weird today, but I feel different because this is happening and this is happening." And then another one will tell me that they're feeling differently bad, and it's really hard. Like, we've got to, the only thing we can do is eat clean, if that's even possible.
Yeah.
We've got Morgellons dropping out of the sky now in rainwater.
Mm.
um, More and more people are picking up nanotechnology.
Mm.
I've got a photo that I took recently. I had a nosebleed, which I get from time to time. And you know how you sort of snort? I went you know, on my white pillow slip.
Whoops.
And yep, and the blood splattered square. I went, oh my
Wow.
God, that's nano.
Okay. Wow.
I'm
This is
snorting
all,
nano blood.
this is so
Yeah.
science fiction, isn't it? And I think that that's probably by design too, that there's a lot of science fiction programs and stuff
Yes.
out there to try to convince
Yes.
everybody that this stuff is it's just made up. It's just made up. It
No,
doesn't really happen.
it's just not. So I took photos. I put everything under a microscope when I can.
Right.
And I'd taken photos, and I'd sent them to a biologist in America, and he said, Julie, you already know what it was. You just told me. I went, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, he too had to be careful. He's sick. He's got Morgellons disease, um, and he's being careful as well. And he said, "You just told me what it was." So yes.
Well, for
So
anybody listening,
is that in my brain too?
yeah, I'm
I
just
don't.
thinking now for everybody out there, like, get angry. Get angry at least first. Get angry. And, it's like what is being done to us? Right? Everybody knows about the food and the environment and the air and all that sort of stuff, but
The
it's like,
water.
holy cow, right? It's been coming out of science labs at us for decades.
Absolutely. And look, all this weather modification stuff started in the 50s
It
as
did.
well.
It did because I found out years ago, I found a scientist at Monash University and I wanted to connect with him because I found that he was doing a lot of research and that was going up to top end Queensland where they were testing it out through the Defence Forces. They were cloud
Oh,
seeding. That was the 1970s, right? And I'm like,
that's right.
but he wouldn't answer me. He wouldn't answer my emails. I couldn't find how to connect him by phone. I went down those rabbit holes myself too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
People just get it. They've not just been doing the weather in it, they've been doing you, right? Using you to test things on.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I'm not really very happy about that.
No.
So if I have to be the big mouth on it, then I'm happy to tell the world. Because
Yes.
what can they do to me now to make me feel worse? Nothing, really.
Yes.
You know, they've
Yes.
destroyed my house. They've destroyed my body. I've lost my house. Can't work. Neither can
Well,
all the other
I
liners.
think they actually get quite arrogant. They think that they'll be able to just discredit you really quickly, and I think they've already poked their head in and had a look at you and gone, nah, she's not a problem." That's how arrogant that level of society can get, that level of academia, I suppose, can get.
Yes,
I think that
yes.
they can discredit you pretty easily. But you're hitting the Cosmic Consciousness Conference in November this year.
Yeah,
You'll be on
yes, and
stage.
I'm hoping that my health holds up, that I can stand there with, pride and dignity and not sort of go, oh God, I've got to go to bed.
Well, I tell you, I for one, and I'm sure everyone listening will be right behind you energetically to, get you down to that beautiful part of the world because even the
Yeah,
energy down there will really support you, I'm sure, right?
I've made so many great friends by podcasts, by, just word of mouth on my Facebook page. It's just,
Yeah.
I've met some fabulous people, including you, Helen.
Thank
Um,
you.
and that's my driving force. It makes me realize, no, I'm not wasting my time
Yes.
on my precious energy, which I deal in debits and credits with. Like, all right, I've got this much energy to do this before I go into debit, and that's how I steer my life.
Well, I tell you, we're just about to run out of time, and I could talk for another hour. I just
Oh, and we haven't even got onto the Nazi criminal side of it
Oh
yet.
my
So
God. Look, we'll have to do this again, love. We'll have to do this again. So I want to thank you firstly for being here, for being present here today
thank you,
and,
Helen.
and getting the energy together to be able to talk and let people know your
Thank you.
story.
And do you think I need a psychiatrist?
No,
Just kidding.
love, no,
Just kidding.
I
Just
know.
kidding.
I know.
Okay.
I'll let
Thanks for
everybody
having
out there
me.
be the judge and I mean, no, you don't. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for getting your voice out there and telling your story, right? It needs to go far and wide.
Thanks, Helen. Thanks for having me.
You're most welcome, love.